obviously, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, which is that Belgrade was more or less shut down. The official government estimate was 107,000 protesters. There's been an external estimate of around 250. Yet social media is saying 1.6 million, 10% of the population. Can you tell us a little bit about the most disinformation that your government has seen with regards to the protests?
Speaking about numbers, when you say 1 million or 1.6 million, that's a joke. That's just a joke. I cannot make any comments on that. It's a different assessment, different estimation when people are moving and when people are standing in the same place, because you don't occupy the same type of space. But we were very, very accurate on our assessments, and most of the people knew that we were saying the truth. We have no reason to hide anything anyway. It was a big protest, no doubt, and they were getting ready for that for many months, investing huge amounts of money and all the resources and everything else. But what was more important than that, it was that we kept calmness, tranquility and stability of the country. We didn't use any kind of police force at all. The only big fight that you could have seen was a fight between the participants of protests close to Nikola Pašić Square, and that's it. That's all about it.
The protesters alleged that during the 15 minutes of silence, they said the government used an acoustic weapon. Could you respond to that allegation?
I can't say this. This is a total lie. I'm ready even to invite FBI or whomever you want just to confirm it. Because they were saying they saw an anti-drone gun in the hands of the soldiers here on this building, and they were saying that was an acoustic weapon. Then we said to them, but this is just an anti-drone, rifle, nothing more than that. And they were saying, okay, but anyway, it was happening somewhere. Of course, that's a pure lie, but when you are facing color revolutions, then everything is allowed to those who are lying, and that's it. There had been no acoustic weapons at all, and I'm sure that investigations will confirm it within 24 hours.
And something that I was really struck reporting on the protests on Saturday was there was little, if any, talk about policy. There was not much discussion of even the train station canopy collapse tragedy that instigated all of these. What do you perceive the protesters of wanting at this point?
They wanted, first of all, many of them wanted to have a real revolution, which means an overthrow or toppling down myself, and they don't know how to explain it. And you rightfully noticed they didn't speak about real politics, about real plans, about real changes, about real programs, because they cannot find a common denominator on any single matter. Number two, what I can say about a country that is the second fastest growing economy in Europe. Serbia has the biggest today, on a biggest level of its development, which means biggest pensions, biggest salaries, the biggest number of kilometers of our highways, motorways, railroads and everything else. This year it was expected for us to be number one fastest growing economy in entire Europe. Now they made some difficulties, but we still hope that we can be in first three fastest growing economies. When we come to rational figures, rational data, they have nothing to offer. That's why they always have to find something emotional to say, that terrible guy, that dictator, shot on us, acoustic, whatever, waves or I don't know what. It's the same pattern that we used to see in some other Eastern European countries, from Ukraine to some other countries. And that's what they do. There are no real arguments for anything they claim, for anything they speak about, and that's why they were very much surprised. They were saying that we were going to beat them, that people that are against them, students from the park, will attack them, that everybody will attack them. At the end, they destroyed 186 tractors. The only big fight, they made it between themselves. No one responded to them. We didn't want to arrest anyone. At the end, we had to arrest 44 guys. Then it was 13 detained because they were either drunk, either causing some violence, and that was the reason. Nothing more than that.
And I know you've already granted many concessions to the protesters' initial demands, right? The 20% increase in education funding, clemency for 13 arrested protesters.
And I'm very sorry that I did it.
You regret it?
Yes.
Do you think it encouraged more of the...
No, I regret it because they were saying that these people didn't do anything. And then you saw that it was released that video and audio material from Novi Sad which showed and at the same time proved that they committed that violence because they were happy to confirm that. And they were lying that they didn't do it, and it means that I didn't bring justice to my people, to the contrary.
Yes. One person who evidently is in your corner would be President Trump and his son, Donald Trump Jr. I know he was just out here. We listened to his podcast episode with you. Have you had other formal talks with the American administration?
Not yet, but I hope that very soon we'll have a contact with Marco Rubio. Mm-hmm. And I hope that within a few months we'll be able to see President Trump as well.
Yes, and President Trump will be speaking with Putin with Putin soon to hopefully bring about some peace, a peace deal. How have you seen Serbia's role in navigating these last 2 years of war? Because you very much are at the cornerstone of East and West.
I can say that Serbia had a different and very independent position, which means, yes, we have always been supportive to territorial integrity of Ukraine, supportive to UN Charter and UN resolutions. That was a very much principled behavior of our government, of our nation. On the other hand, we did not want to impose any sanctions against Russia because we were under sanctions for 10, 11 years. And it doesn't bring peace, it doesn't bring solutions. And we knew it from the very beginning. And of course, many countries condemned that independent attitude of Serbia. Today we believe that it was a very right approach and that we did everything in a very proper way. Well, we'll see whether it was a good decision or not, but it was our decision at least.
Yes.
No one interfered into our internal matters, into our internal affairs, and I'm very proud to say this. I hope that President Trump will be able to, in his endeavors and efforts, to reaching a peace, because it's of an utmost importance for all of us, here in the region, but all over the world. That will calm down all the tensions psychologically. Economy will be very much boosted, and that's something that we would like to see as soon as possible.
But has the war changed Serbia's relationship with Russia, though? Because even though you've maintained most policy of neutrality, you have been monetarily supportive of the Ukrainian cause, even though obviously you're pro-peace deal.
Yeah, but it's of course it showed because of these sanctions against Russia that were imposed by European Union. We had a big decrease of our trade exchange with Russia. Still, we have an important issues to deal with Russians on energy sector, and we have started negotiating process on a new gas arrangement, although we attempted to diversify it with Azerbaijani's gas from Shah Deniz 2 as well. Mm-hmm. And but this is something very big. They are an owners of our oil industry. Still, there are many things that we have in common with Russians that we need to resolve it in a way that would be good for both sides. But it is a changed situation.
And one of your most important military partnerships is with Israel.
Yes.
I know Serbia has been a true friend to Israel since October 7th and the Hamas invasion. Why?
Sorry.
Yes, no, go ahead.
Not
please.
only after that, even before that, I was already hosting 2 Israeli presidents here in Belgrade. Serbs and Jews have always been on the same side, and we suffered together during the Second World War. Many people in the United States, they don't know the fact that Serbs were the only nation in this region that was anti-Nazi oriented from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why Belgrade was bombarded on 6th of April 1941. No other cities was that severely attacked as Belgrade was. And today I need to say something to people that will see, that will watch this conversation, this interview. Maccabi Tel Aviv, Maccabi Haifa, and all Israeli clubs, they are hosts and they are hosting their guests in basketball, football, on international level here in Belgrade. They're hosts here in Belgrade. And they have never, ever faced any single anti-Semitic banner or word or chanting or whatever, because they feel at home here in Belgrade. And this is our relationship with Israelis. Yes, and we started building our military cooperation in last 2 years, and I'm very happy about it.
I know that during his first term, President Trump said that your government had expressed interest in moving an embassy office into Jerusalem after he recognized Jerusalem as the capital. Now that Trump is back in office,
yes, but that was a part of general agreement, an overall agreement, mm-hmm. that the other side never ever wanted to fulfill, and then we were threatened by many European powers if we do so, if we violate UN resolution on Jerusalem, that will face sanctions and everything else. But we'll discuss it with President Trump and we'll see what we can do on this.
And the EU, it's your number one, you get most of your foreign aid from the EU, it's your number one trading partner, but the EU has sort of left Serbia lying in wait for decades now in terms of formally joining the European Union. How has that relationship changed, and how have they responded to the turmoil of the last 4 months?
I'm not happy with their reactions, that's all I can say. I don't think they treated Serbia in a very fair way.
I think many people would agree with that. But the Serbian economy, really, it should be such a big story. How much satisfaction was there? Let's go the day before the horrible tragedy, October 31st, 2024. You have a lower unemployment rate than most of the region. Inflation still above 4%, but coming down from that 2023 peak. What was the voter sentiment? What was consumer sentiment?
Even today, the voter sentiment are against the guys in the opposition. They were a bit deceived by young people saying that they were not politically affiliated, and that was the reason why they gathered so many people. Mm-hmm. It's not the fact that people really like the opposition. No, they don't. People know they live much better. And I see that you did a lot of preparations. When we came to power, an unemployment rate was 25.9. Wow. Now it's 8.1. And we have formally 550,000 more people that are employed than it used to be 10 years ago, just for you to know. And we have 500,000 people less living in Serbia because of low fertility rate as a first reason, and of course at least 200,000 people left country in the meantime. Now this is for the first time happening that people are coming back, which I'm very much joyful about. Jubilant, it's a better word to explain it. And speaking about everything else, Serbia for the first time got an investment grade credit rating from Standard & Poor, and I believe Fitch was going to make it, and Moody's. And now they say that these products are jeopardizing our investment grade because we don't have enough stability and everything else. And those people, they don't care. They don't care. And they just want to make a bigger mess, and that's it. And on the other hand, just wanted to say that not only unemployment rate, you need to understand that an average salary in Serbia was 329 euros 10 years ago. Now it's around 950. It's a huge, huge, huge progress. In Belgrade, it's 1,160. Speaking about net average salary. And here where we sit, it's around 1,650. It's a big change. People live much better, and they know it. And you couldn't see poor people in the streets. Those people belong to the upper middle class or upper class.
Yes.
We call it in Serbian, it's pobuna bogatih. And you can translate it in a best possible way, choosing the best expressions in English language.
I want to ask about the Novi Sad canopy collapse, but I want to ask something that I didn't see mentioned much at all at the protests.
Nobody was mentioning it.
No.
Nobody was interested in that. If you see that someone was organizing something because of terrible tragedy, you don't organize then a carnival.
Yes.
You don't organize big music festivals. And they didn't care about it, and we knew it. They heard a voice of so many family members that were saying, we are not interested in your protests. We want just justice. And we want to be delivered that justice from the prosecution office and judges at the end. And that's it.
What do you perceive as having gone wrong in the renovation and reconstruction of that train station?
Tragedies will always happen. It's not something will happen in a year as well. In 2 years. How did it happen that helicopter crashed with an airplane just
that was a policy failure.
Somewhere above Potomac River? It happens. It's a tragedy. Some people are guilty. They have to be responsible for that, accountable for that, and that's it. Some people did not do their job. Some people did not do their expertise properly. Some people did not understand that we needed to do reconstruction of that canopy in a constructive way. Reconstruction, speaking about the real construction works, we didn't do it, but we added something and no one was calculating that good. And now an investigation will show how did it happen and who was responsible for that.
Two of the companies that performed the reconstruction of that canopy specifically are China Railway Group Limited and China Communications Construction Company Limited. Is there any concern about the use of Chinese builders and Chinese investors? Has the canopy collapse caused any rethinking of that?
I know that you would like to hear from me something bad about Chinese whatever. I cannot say that. What they were doing many things. They do it quite well and in a proper way. And if I would say Americans were building the widest and the best highway in this country, and we were very much criticized by all those protesters because of that highway, saying, well, you paid a lot to American company, you paid twice more than you needed. But they built that. They built that in a terrific way, and we are happy to have it. And they all use all these highways. You know, one of the banners was that was present in those protests. Thank you, Vučić, for building all these roads for us, and now we are coming to protest against you. This is, you know, a bit contradicting to itself, but who cares at the end?
Do you foresee an increased trade relationship with the U.S. now that Trump is back?
Yes, and we'll discuss it. What I like very much is Trump's approach regarding economy. He does understand that economy is of an utmost importance for every single country, and we'll do our best to improve our cooperation with United States of America. And I believe that Donald Trump is a real change for the world, and Serbia was the country with the biggest level of support for President Trump out of all other European countries.
56%, if I
No, 56% within total population. When you speak about determined voters, it's 78 to 79%, just for you to know, by far the biggest.
How much do you think it is that, how
You
much of an
cannot find,
effect?
go to the streets. Apart from these urban elites,
Yes.
which hates Trump in New York, Washington, and all the other big cities as well, you cannot find a single person that would say something against Donald Trump.
Donald Trump has really helped even the younger Democrats in Washington move away from that 90s fog of war, right? Joe Biden was obviously head of Senate Foreign Relations at the time during the 90s. But these younger Democrats have been able to take a cue from Trump. How much do you think Donald Trump helping move America away from being blinded by the 90s, how has it helped at all? Has it helped the EU move forward? Has it helped other countries that Serbia has been?
First of all, I believe that his way of thinking, which is mainly out of the box, we like it very much, because if you have always the same type of prejudices and everything that was a legacy of Clinton's politics, you cannot do anything here. You cannot change anything in a positive direction. And Trump's approach is something that brings us a real hope. It is a ray of hope at the end of a tunnel. I don't know whether he's going to have enough strength to keep on working that way on delivering at the end in every single corner of the world. But no doubt, this is a big hope for us. And we believe that we need Serbian people to change their attitude towards the United States of America, and vice versa.
Yes.
And in order to do so, we need this kind of president's approach. And people will like to see that, more of that. And we believe that we can be a true and a reliable partner of the United States of America. We are a small country. We know that we cannot be compared with such a superpower as United States are, but whatever we can be helpful to boost our relationship, we'll do it. And we are profoundly grateful to him and to his people. At least they wanted always to listen to us. I can tell you just one short story. When we were dealing with trying to negotiate Washington agreement, I saw that his people were very hard-working people. At that time, O'Brien, he was a boss of NSC, if I'm not mistaken, Rick Grinnell, but Jared Kushner, and some other very top officials were meeting us. They were sitting with me in a naval room. Is there a naval room without windows, or a submarine room, whatever, in White House? They were sitting with us for almost 3 hours, listening to us. Nobody listened to us for 3 hours. We're coming from the very small country. Who are we? For big American leaders. And these guys were 3 out of 10 most important people in the United States.
Did Joe Biden ever listen to you?
Yeah, they listened to us. They listened to us, but it was always, 10 minutes, and then their messages to us. But these people listened to us. Okay, did we do something we couldn't do because of the other side? And I'm not going to play any kind of blame games. But at the end, these people at least listened to us. They heard something else. They heard a different side of a story, which no one else wanted to hear for 25 years. And that's something that meant a lot to us, to be very honest. And at the same time, we were speaking till 7:30 p.m. Those people were American time, East American time, which means that those people were very diligent. Who are you going to find in Europe in his office at 7:30 p.m. apart from big conferences or big important meetings, or even here?
Yeah.
No one. And those people show their diligence, their dedication, their wish to participate in resolving some issues, some problems.
Unlike other world leaders, it seems you've also welcomed Trump's change in foreign policy in terms of cutting USAID.
I was very happy. I was very happy because I can tell you, apart from small good things they did, I can tell you that they were financing NGOs that were financing the other NGOs, money laundering and financing the other NGOs in their attempts to overthrow the government. And I can tell you in Serbian language, you make a translation better than I do. They were financing with almost 200,000 euros one organization which name is Da Smradovi Odu. Can you imagine that? It's something unimaginable, but anyway, at the end, I believe that Donald Trump wants to change political paradigm which will mean a lot to the freedom-loving world, to many nations in Europe, but to many nations in Asia, to many nations in Africa, in South America, all over the world. And people do understand that. I spoke even to Chinese. They like me. I have a very good relationship with them. But they prefer Trump to Biden. Ordinary Chinese people prefer Trump to Biden, although Trump was imposing tariffs against them. You know why? Because they see himself as a charismatic person that speaks loudly, openly, sincerely. When you have that type of a guy, you can speak to him.
Yes.
You can try to make a deal.
Yes.
And I'm sure that at the end they're going to make a deal. He's a deal maker. He's a business person. He wants to make not wars, but deals. This is what we needed.
Serbia is the third largest holder of lithium reserves in Europe. Would you make a lithium deal with Donald Trump?
But we are also, they have a better lithium than the others, cleaner or whatever else. I'm not an expert on this. And we have already made some agreements with some companies, and we have been so far in a close contact with people from Trump surrounding on that. And I hope that we'll be able to discuss it with President as well.
And I know I can't take up too much more of your time, so I want to close on the future. The protesters thought this would be their D-Day. I don't know what they were expecting.
There will be another D-Day, third D-Day, 10th D-Day, and everything will go.
What do you want to do moving forward? What does the future of...
I want to focus myself and this entire country on economy and on our future. Resolving all the issues in the parliament in a very democratic way, because I believe that we showed how restrained and refrained we were from using any kind of force, and very happy because you don't see these kind of images in Europe when the others are organizing riots or whatever. Then you see a massive use of force by police and all the other security services. We didn't do it here. We don't want to do it, but we need to carry on regular lives, and I hope that we'll be able to do so and to be successful. And still I believe that we can be 1 out of 3 fastest growing economy in Europe even this year.
What do you wish for American viewers to know as they scroll through social media and they read about these democratic anti-corruption protests? What do you want them to know about your country and your government?
My dear friends in the United States of America, you're going to understand everything. See CNN, what CNN is saying, the truth is on the opposite side. And that's it. You're going to see that they do and they say everything against me, exactly what they were saying about President Trump. And then you're going to understand absolutely everything. See the figures, see the rational side of a matter, and on the other hand, you see social network, emotion falsities, fabrications, and everything else. And then I believe in American people's wisdom, in their noses, and they do understand now absolutely everything.